as a woman, like, you never got to be the hero. I got the girl, I got the money, I got the car. I came out of prison. I was like all those guys that I always liked watching the movies of, but I'm like, "Oh, that's so cool," but they're always guys, and I'm like, "You can kind of be guy-ish, like, guy-esque." I was just happy to cut off my nails and my hair and wear a little makeup. I was so like, "Oh, thank God."
Welcome to The Creative Asylum, a weekly podcast that digs deep into the minds of visionary creators of all stripes. Musicians, actors, filmmakers, writers, artists, cartoonists, and cultural disruptors. Here, we'll discuss perspectives of living life on your own terms. Life lessons that keep us grounded, insane, and sometimes pull us back from the edge. So, take a deep breath, loosen your grip on the bland and the boring. This is your weekly prescription for authentic living, creative clarity, and hopefully, a little bit of cultural rebellion.
Side effects may include spontaneous joy, existential epiphanies, and an uncontrollable urge to do weird and beautiful things.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Creative Asylum. I'm your host, Daniel House, and today's guest is Gina Gershon. You might know her from the movie Showgirls or maybe Bound. She's been in a whole lot of movies for decades. She's done work with John Sayles, Robert Altman, Michael Mann, even Bill Friedkin. She's written a book, a memoir. It's called Alpha Pussy: How I Survived the Valley and Learned to Love My Boobs. This is a very special conversation for me anyway. I've been a fan of Gina's ever since I first saw her in the John Sayles movie she did in 1991. It's called City of Hope, if you've not seen it. She had another thing to run off to, so it's not the longest conversation as much as I wish it could have been, but I'm still honored and delighted that she agreed to come onto the Creative Asylum. So without further ado, let's get to the conversation with Gina Gershon. Hi, Gina. How are you
Hi.
today? Thank you so much for making the time to appear on the Creative Asylum.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
It's pretty awesome. I feel honored. So I've read your book,
Great.
Alpha Pussy: How I Survived the Valley and Learned to Love My Boobs, and I loved it. I think you and I are about the same age, so there were certain elements and certain times, especially like in high school, where I kind of really related just to the feeling and the vibe. And I was at Berkeley High, you were in Beverly Hills, but similar time, similar place. And I learned a lot of things that I hadn't known, and there were certain connections that were really cool. Yeah, one of the things that I'm guessing a lot of people that just know you from film probably don't know that you're an author, probably don't know how much time and experience you spent in theater, both at the beginning of your career and even once your career was semi-established.
I
So
know. Everyone has their own little idea of what I do. Like whatever people are into, then they're like, "Oh, that's what she does." It's like, okay. Other people are like, "No, no, she does that." It's like, yeah, okay.
you do all sorts of things, right? You're sort of a musician, an actor, a writer, and whatever you want to be, I suppose.
It's all different sides of the same crystal or something.
Uh-huh.
I get bored easily. And I don't get bored easily. I just get like when I get obsessed with something, then I just kind of go into that realm. And then I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot. I like this. Then I kind of go back there. So I've been very fortunate to be able to bounce around a little bit and do what kind of tickles my fancy at the time.
And does that have something to do just sort of with who you are creatively as a person?
I mean, I think it has everything to do with me, who I am creatively as a person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I think if I were more like, oh, I have to just be an actor and that's what I do and I should really plan and plot. I don't know. I've never really operated that way. I do at
Sure.
moments. I get very obsessed with something and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, wait a second, that looks really fun. Like I'm gonna go do that for a while. Or something gets in your head like music or like writing and like it's just, you kind of have to get rid of it before then you can go do something else because
Right.
I just kind of go with the flow, man.
That's great. But acting is your first true love, I assume, since you've done
I
more of that
guess
than
it
anything?
is, yeah. I mean, although I kind of started off more as a song and dance gal. I was doing that before anything, but then I wanted to be, a serious actress. And, at that time you kind of had to choose what are you going to do. And since my family, they're all in the music business. I took that really seriously. I'm like, well, if I'm going to do that, I can only do that. I think I've always been one like when I do something, that's all I can do, and then I'm like, okay, now that's all I can do. I haven't been able to multitask at the same time. That's why I like it when there's singing and music and like acting all in one. Then I'm like, okay, I get to do everything at the same time.
You get to do everything. Yeah. Well, something I hadn't known prior to the book is this. I haven't seen Pray for Rock and Roll, but now I'm going to.
You must. It's really
I will. No, I will. I will. Absolutely. I'm a bit of a movie fanatic. And so you've been in a number of movies and worked with a number of directors that I have just total admiration for. You've got to work with John Sayles, who's one of my all time favorites.
so great. Yeah.
And you've gotten to work with Robert Altman in one of my favorite Altman films,
Yeah.
and even like Michael Mann and even Bill Friedkin before he passed. So,
Yeah.
and all movies I love. Were there any specific directors that you particularly enjoyed, or like, I don't know, when you think about just warm your heart in a particularly special way?
I mean, I think I like them all for different reasons,
Uh-huh.
especially
Uh-huh.
when they're really good. I mean, Friedkin, by the end, like, I mean, after the movie, we really loved each other, and at the
Uh-huh.
beginning of the movie, I really loved him. But, he has such a crazy process halfway through. I'm like, okay, what's going on?
Right.
But I have to say, it was really fascinating always watching him work because he was just so extraordinary. So that was very interesting. Altman was just a dream. I mean, kind of like, "Hey, kid, what do you wanna do? Just go out and do something." It's like, "Alright," you know? I mean, I really thought that was such an amazing process. Michael Mann everyone has their own particular thing. As long as they're good, I really enjoy working with them?
Uh-huh.
If they're kinda crazy and they're not good, it's kind of like, "Well, this is" you know?
It sounded like you spent a lot of time locking horns with Paul Verhoeven on Showgirls.
That wasn't the easiest shoot.
It doesn't sound like it.
It wasn't.
I originally discovered his work years and years ago when he was still primarily a Dutch filmmaker, and they had a retrospective at the Seattle International Film Festival. I basically watched all of his movies at that point, and so
Yeah.
it's such an odd dichotomy between those original films and then his later films, and
His Dutch
kind of
films are great. I was really into his Dutch.
yeah, they're astounding. Yeah, they're really
And,
fantastic.
even his other films that got very American and commercially and I mean, pulling back on them now, it's all very I think intellectually they're interesting. He really is sneaky about, ugly American capitalism and
Yeah,
fascism, power
right.
dynamics, which I don't think you realize he's doing that when you're in it or when you're watching first.
Well, in that Showgirls is in so many ways an indictment of so much of that sort of American,
Yeah.
that specifically American sort of consumer culturism and all of that.
It's like the ugly side of the American dream.
Yeah. I've always been interested with Showgirls how much it was kind of shit on, and, like the Razzies and everything, because for years and years I never watched it because I always heard like, "Oh, it's terrible. You'll hate it." And then I watched it and I'm like, I didn't hate that. It's campy, and, some of the dialogue is campy and a little cheesy, but it's a very entertaining film. It never bores you. I think you have to take it at face value for its campiness and enjoy it on those terms, and then it's like it's a fun film.
I thought so, but I think when the time it came out, they were taking it very seriously, and I'm
Okay,
like,
right,
"Okay, we're dead."
right.
I kept thinking, "No, it should be a flashing billboard, like, every day as the curtain rises up, 'Showgirls is coming, it's coming,' like, be like" and then they were like, "This is the poster," and I was like, "Huh," like, "Wow,
Uh,
very serious," and I'm like, "Wow, dead."
did it feel serious when you were making it, or like the campiness did not seem like that was kind of imbued in the making of the film?
I mean, you know it's like you're gonna go into a music session, right? And you think, "Oh, we're gonna be playing Wagner, so I'm gonna bring my, violin, or I'm gonna bring" and you have a different mindset, and you show up, and it's like K-pop, and it's like, "Oh, wait, I have all the wrong instruments, like, it's
Oops.
so bright in here, I better change my instruments and"
Right, right.
go this way, else it's not gonna work. So, I think going in, I felt, oh, this is very Dutch and very serious and very dark and like, ooh, I'm really excited. And when I got there, I'm like, wow, that's not this at all. So I kind of embraced it. And in my mind, I thought, oh, the drag queens will dress like me on Halloween. So I think I went for a camp. I embraced that and just made my character like wrap around that in a fun way, still grounded,
Hmm.
but definitely a different color than I was originally going in with.
Right. Well, I guess you need to be able to pivot when things don't go the way you think they're going to go.
Yeah, it's a great lesson in pivoting and not going with the flow, but like really being able to pull out and see exactly what you're dealing with and like, got it. And then just going back to it and appropriately, if not, then you're acting in some other weird world and nothing works.
So in the book, you talked about how that experience with that film really, in many ways, informed your whole journey to become the alpha pussy that you are now.
Well, I think I was instinctively an alpha pussy growing up in the valley. I think there's a reason I talk so much about those stories because everything we do in life, for better or worse, prepares us for something later on that maybe we wouldn't have dealt with as great had we not had that super weird experience before.
Hmm.
That's why I kind of keep like referring backwards sometimes.
That also assumes you're living a life in such a way that you're paying attention to what's going on. Because I think some people just sort of things happen and they don't respond or they don't learn. And, I've always felt like every experience, even the negative ones, are lessons and ways to grow and inform sort of how you make choices moving forward.
Yeah. You kind of learn even more from the negative ones,
Yeah. Yeah. True.
you
True.
know, sadly, but it's true. It's just like,
You want to make sure they don't happen again, right?
yeah, you want to make sure they don't happen again. And also, it teaches you, like, it's like, oh, this is a bad frequency, like how to recognize it or how to, deal with things that aren't pleasant in the moment. I mean, I realized so much of this book, especially the earlier stuff, actually, a lot of it, I didn't realize it until like these stories started coming up again. It's not like, oh, I'm going to write this and this and this. A lot of the stuff just started flushing into my brain and I realized, especially the younger stuff and some of the New York, I was really stressed out, but I didn't know it because I was just in such survival mode. Like, uh-oh, bad guy in a car coming. Just go into that house, walk home, get at. It was literally like, your instincts, like almost like an animal instinct of like, danger, danger, go over here. Like, uh-oh, go over here. And it wasn't until I just sat down and really started reliving it and thinking about it that I was like, wow, that was scary. I never really acknowledged how scary and icky it was.
Hmm.
So that was interesting. It was.
That's a word for it.
It was. It was interesting.
What was the point from when you started just sort of writing these stories to where you suddenly said, I think I'm writing a book, or you decided I am writing a book? And then how long was that process to where from where you started to where you felt like you had enough to kind of say, okay, I think this is in some kind of form that you can like we can look at it.
It started off right before COVID,
Hmm.
right before, and I was with my friend who also happens to be my book agent, who I did the last book with, and I was a little tipsy, and so I started telling him showgirl stories, which I really don't talk about. I just don't. And the next day, he's like, "Hey, you got a book here." I'm like, yeah, he said, just start writing stories. I'm like, I don't know if I want to write that book. And then, of course, lockdown happened. He's like, just send me stories. I'm like stuck in here. It'll be at least entertaining. And then I started writing him a lot of showgirl stories. Then wrote him other stories that kept coming up that I knew. I'm like, well, I'll write them down at the very least, and I won't forget them. And then after a while, he's like, okay, so here's your book, which was mainly focused on, I think, showgirl stuff and other stories like that. And I don't know, it didn't feel right in my body. I'm like, "I don't wanna write that book." I just don't. Because it's just not my personality, and also to really go there, it's gonna get kinda ugly at times, and I'm
Sure.
like, "I don't wanna do that either." Like, the world is icky enough. Do I wanna spend my time doing that? Like, I don't know. And then, just organically, I just started thinking about other stories. My mother was not well at the time, so I think that was bringing up a lot of stuff. I was getting out of an icky relationship, so I was like, "Huh, why was I with that guy?" And so that started bringing up a lot of stuff, and all of a sudden, I don't remember when the actual Alpha Pussy story connected to Showgirls, like, that's in the foreword came up,
Yeah.
But as soon as I logged on to that, I went alpha pussy. And I always say, oh, I got an alpha pussy. People are like, what are you talking about? But they always love the word. I'm like, you got to just stand on your own 2 feet and don't let the cat, you got to become the alpha pussy so the cat doesn't like fucking ruin your whole life.
Right.
And then I realized, oh, you could do this with humans too. And as soon as I don't know, I don't remember when it connected, but all of a sudden I went, oh, that's an interesting book. Alpha Pussy, because I just also like to say it, and I wanted to see people walking around in T-shirts. I like the swag idea of it.
I saw a picture of you with an Alpha Pussy t-shirt.
I know.
Are they
I
available, or is that
I
like the
got
only one?
merch.
You
Well,
do got merch.
I do, but
Okay.
I've gotten so burnt out. I keep forgetting to put it online. Yeah, I'm gonna get back to that. I have to get back to that. I keep thinking, oh yeah, I wanted to sell this. A friend of mine, she said she would help.
Well, print on demand is a beautiful thing.
I
Just
think
saying.
that's what she was gonna do. But it's hard selling a book. I've been going different places and like
Yeah.
this and that. In the meantime, I had to finish a script. So I've just been like, oh yeah, I'll get to
You've
that.
been
But
all over the place promoting this
I've
book.
been a little bit all over the
Yeah.
place, and which is great, but I haven't had time I don't have a merch person. What's wrong with
Mm-hmm.
me?
Mm-hmm.
Not professional.
So when I was reading about, well, I read the whole book, and one of the things that made me go, what, was when you were talking about the band that you had touring, and I'm like, Girls Against Boys is her backing band? And
They're
I
my
was like,
first touring band.
that's so cool. Like, I love those guys. They were
I
such a great
know.
band. And then the next step, that Johnny Temple is actually the guy that started Akashic. I'm just like, oh shit. So
On the bus as we were touring.
I thought that was such a cool full circle thing that kind of
Yeah.
whatever touched on my earlier life, my earlier world,
Yeah.
in sort of the more underground music world, and they're such a great band, and how cool, like how cool for you to have that be the band that you were touring with.
Oh, they're so fun. Especially, and Johnny was always be like, dude, like, what are you doing? You're surrounded by manuscripts. I'm like, we're going out. He's like, no, I got to read. And I have to say, out of all the band with Scott and Eli and Alexis, he was always the one when whatever was going wrong, I'd always like turn to look at Johnny, be like, what the fuck is going on? But he always so steady and so reliable as a bass player.
Yeah.
Like he's the reliable guy. It's no accident that Akashic has done so well and it's such a cool thing. And so when I was doing Alpha Pussy, I knew the kind of book I wanted to make. And I also knew that like a bigger company, they'd be like, oh, we can't call it Alpha Pussy because I had that problem with the last book. I'm like, oh, we have to put your picture on the cover. And like, I don't want to, I really wanted to make what I wanted to make. And so I talked to Johnny about it. He was like, let's do it. I'm like, cool.
I really love the image on the cover of the book. I
It's
think
good, right?
it's
It works really.
it's a really nice design. Yeah.
And what's cool when you open it up? It's the whole boulevard. Did you notice that?
Oh, I did not.
Right?
Super cool. I love that.
I was trying to like get Ventura Boulevard, like the bowling alley that I talk about. And actually the car is kind of like the predator, right? Like that shows up in that story. And then it looks like, oh, a movie theater, but the movie theater is it's kind of a dark cover once you know what it is.
Uh-huh.
That's why I kind of want to make it a little smoggy. I'm
Right.
very proud of the cover. I'm really happy.
No, it's really beautiful. Like, actually, I have to say that Akashic really, I think their book design overall is really nice, because I've got a small pile of them, and there's some other people that I'm hoping to also interview for this podcast. And
Yeah. Very good artist because
yeah.
Johnny already going in knows, that I can be very perfectionisty and like I want what I want and I'm very specific. I just remember saying, okay, we need the cover. I'm like, I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet. Like
Uh-huh.
this. And he's like, they would help. I'm like, no, no. I was very fastidious and, Johnny's very patient.
Well, that's good. It sounds like a good mix. If you're enjoying this conversation, please make sure you hit that follow button so you never miss an episode. If you're watching on YouTube, please like this video, leave a comment, and if you haven't already, please subscribe. It's the quickest way to grow our channel, and it's absolutely free. You can also subscribe to our other channels on social media. Check out our Instagram at Creative Asylum CA, that's the letter CA, or on TikTok at The Creative Asylum, that's all one word. Our website is thecapod.com, and our Facebook profile is the same, facebook.com/thecapod. All right, back to the episode. Can we talk about one of my favorite of your movies? Not that I've seen all your movies, but I've always been a huge fan of Bound.
Yeah, it's a good one.
It's just so great. I didn't realize until fairly recently that that was the Wachowskis' very first film, which kind of blows my mind
Right?
because it's such a strong film, and I love how embedded it is in the noir world,
Yeah.
but also as so many other things. Where does that fit for you in your mind in terms of the films you've done? Is that a favorite?
Oh, yeah. I love that film. I could watch
Yeah.
that film. I've probably seen that movie more than any other movie of mine because I don't really tend to watch movies, but I watched it and it's so good that I don't know what's gonna happen next. I literally
Uh-huh.
get tense going, "Uh-oh, what's gonna happen?" And it's like, "Hello, I've
Even though you're in it and you've seen it before?
like, I've seen it a lot, and I still get really like, "Oh my god." Yeah. And it was, like, very alpha pussy just doing that movie,
Yeah.
because they're like, "You can't do it." I had to leave my agents. I'm like, I stuck to my instincts. I'm like, "I wanna do this movie.
Yeah.
They're not your reasons. I get you want me to be in a big whatever." And I also listen to my instincts going, "Showgirls, not gonna be what you think. I gotta really show
Yeah.
what I'm gonna do." And it was like the perfect antidote,
Yeah. Yeah.
for me personally as an artist.
Well, it's like it's that whole role is like it's tough and it's sexy and it's confident. And it's kind of that whole take no shit kind of attitude, I think.
Well, it was so cool, I got to be
Yeah, so
a
cool.
hero, as a woman, like, you never got to be the hero. I got the girl, I got the money, I got the car. I came out of prison. I was like all those guys that I always liked watching the movies of, but I'm like, "Oh, that's so cool," but they're always guys, and I'm like, "You can kind of be guy-ish, like, guy-esque." I was just happy to cut off my nails and my hair and wear a little makeup. I was so like, "Oh, thank God."
So one thing that I know you're a big Bob Fosse fan. What was interesting is right before starting the book, I'm like, I haven't watched all that jazz in a couple of decades. So I put it on, and literally within 2 days, I'm like, oh, it's time to read the book. And I'm like, oh shit, here she is going. If you haven't seen all that jazz, you should watch it. I'm like, that was kind of a cool little connection.
It's so good, isn't it? It's such a
Oh,
great
it's
movie.
so good.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's my favorite of his because when I was 12, my grandmother took me to see Cabaret in the theater, which is an
Yeah,
odd and interesting thing to bring a 12-year-old grandson.
there is.
And that was down in Torrance in the Del Almo Mall. I've always had a fondness for that movie. And then I'm reading that I know it wasn't Fosse, but you appeared in Cabaret on Broadway.
I played Sally Bowles, and guess what? Right now, I'm listening to Liza Minnelli's book as we speak. Not
Oh,
right,
really?
but that's why I just started. It's so good.
I love that you went and did a large theater production even after you've been pretty well established at this point as a movie person.
Well, I mean, I come from the world of theater. That's what I do. And it was also Sam Mendes' version of Cabaret. I get to play Sally Bowles in this insanely great production.
Yeah.
It was a no-brainer. Seriously, it was a no-brainer. The music's so great, the part's so great, the production was insanely fantastic. I love doing that play.
Do you have a preference between, like, at this point in your life, between movie and theater, or is it all just kind of cool for different reasons?
At this part of my time in my life, I just like working with really interesting directors who have a vision. I love film, because I like how cool it could be and I like sound design. But with theater, you could have that as well. I mean, I like live performing live. I like playing music live.
Sure.
It just depends on what I'm doing. If I really love it, I like the medium.
Hmm.
It's like either good or bad. You know what I mean? My uncle used to always say, "There's two kinds of music, kid, good music or bad music." I'm like, "Okay."
Which is, of course, completely subjective.
Yeah.
But it's sort of the thing about art. I had a conversation just recently with somebody about, what do you have to be schooled to understand art? And I'm like, well, maybe, maybe not, but it certainly doesn't hurt. But as a consumer of art, whatever that art is, all you really need to know is, how it hits you.
I don't think you need to be schooled at all. I think, in fact, if you get too intellectual, you've you're not hitting it right. Whatever it is, like words or music or film or paintings, I hope to see or I want to put out. Like I just there should be a not necessarily visceral, but something that moves you in some way or makes you think of something or has an effect on you. I
Yeah,
think the whole point of it. I'm not into like, oh, what a pretty piece of whatever. It's like, okay, like it goes out. It's not what I'm interested in. Like if music really, it could be whatever kind, but if it's kind of interesting and it hits these certain chords that, you feel something.
absolutely. I think with film, with music, with
Yeah.
whatever, it's just how it hits you. What does
Yeah.
does it make you feel something?
Yeah.
Even sometimes even that feeling is discomfort.
Great.
Yeah,
Even better.
yeah. So what are you working on now?
Right now, as we speak, I I'm finishing a script that I hope to act in. So I'm just literally finishing it and sending it off today. So I've been like up all night finishing that,
Wow.
which I'm excited about. So I hope, but it takes some time, hopefully I'll get lucky and it'll go and I'll be doing it. So I've been working on that. I've been working very hard to finish that up. And then I've, selling the book. But selling books are hard. I kind of miss my day job. I mean? I just like act. You go to the studio. Oh, I just did a TV show. Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. Uh,
I love that.
you know, you get picked up, they give you a coffee, you know your lines, you do your thing, and you leave. I mean, and it's fun, hopefully, but I'd like to write something that I really believe in and then act in it. That would be something very exciting.
Have you done that before? Have you written a film script?
I've sold film scripts that have never been made. I
Okay.
just wrote another one that I hasn't been made yet. I've only personally written two.
Okay.
Actually, that's not true, three. One I filmed during the pandemic, like shorts, and I've sold other scripts, but other people wrote them. So now I'm kind of writing them more, and it's hard. It's thing. I would love to act in something cool, but I'm not finding it. So I thought, well, I guess I should write it.
Yeah.
So we'll see. It's hard to get stuff made, but I hope this gets made because I think it's cool.
I think that's pretty exciting. I just think it's really cool that you're seeing this other thing that you haven't done necessarily, and you're deciding I'm going to do that. Like, how does that work? So you write it, and then are you sending it to directors? Are you sending it to producers? I have no idea. This is not my world, but
I don't know how it works. I'm I'm sending it to a couple of friends of mine, like
uh huh.
one's a writer because I want his opinion, and one's a producer who I'd like him to do it. So I'll just kind of do it that way.
Uh-huh.
Then my writing partner, he has an agent and they do the traditional stuff, but I kind of want to pinpoint who I want to work with on this. We'll see. And then the other one, there's another movie that takes place in China. A Chinese producer has it. So that was just a crazy story. So I have to rewrite that. That's like, I'm in writing land right now, but then hopefully I'll zero in on acting and I kind of want to go back to music and I'd love to paint. I'd love to just do nothing but paint, but I don't know what I'm doing. I could say something and then in about a month it'll be like, "Oh, guess what? I'm doing like Broadway again." I don't
No,
know.
you know what you're doing. You're doing exactly whatever you want to be doing at any particular time. It's a beautiful thing.
I mean, I know what I'm doing, but I'm saying I don't know what I'm going to be actually doing next. When people are like, "What are you doing next?" I don't know. I'll let you know when I'm doing it. I think I'm supposed to be doing something this week, but I don't know. I'm doing a podcast right now. That's about as far in the future I can think. I'm like, this is what
I think you have a deeply fortunate life in that you have enough freedom in your life to literally pursue anything and everything that, you know, grabs your attention, which
I
is,
agree. I've been very, very, very lucky that I can move through different mediums.
I mean, you've worked hard to get there.
I guess so. I mean, what else am I going to do?
Start a podcast.
I listen on this tour, this book thing. People keep saying, "Are you going to be doing a podcast?" I'm actually really good at it. I decided because
Yeah.
you do live interviews with people, and it's really fun. But do you enjoy it? It's a lot of work, though, right?
Yeah, more than I thought it was going to be.
That's what everyone says.
But, I had been thinking about doing this for, I don't know, 7 years before I finally just said, "Fuck it, let's do it." You
Right.
know?
Great.
And it's a lot of work and sometimes it's really exhausting, but it makes me feel connected in a way. That's a big deal for me,
Yeah.
and it's engaging my mind in ways that are, feel great. I mean, I'm getting to talk with people who are creative about things that interest me and about things that interest them. and it makes me think about certain things in new ways. I mean, what more could I ask for? You know,
Yeah, that's cool.
and I get to talk to people like you, which is like kind of amazing. I think. I mean, I was delightfully surprised when I got a yes.
Aw,
So thank you. I
you're
appreciate that.
welcome.
Since I know you have something more to go to, and I wish we had more time, but that's okay. Let's wrap it up with a final question.
Okay.
And in your case, I'm actually going to give you a twofer question, and just however feels right to answer it. So the first half is just what it is in your life that drives you and has always driven you to sort of do all the creative things that you do. And then the second part of it is, what would you tell young people, or maybe specifically young women who are sort of at the beginning of their own creative journey, in terms of how they should be their own alpha pussy and how they should move forward and go for the things that, that they want to do?
Uh, honestly, who am I to tell anyone what to do, really? And everyone's so different, so it's a hard
Hmm.
everyone has a different answer. You can't just generally say, "This is what you should do." But I am a big believer in just doing what it is you wanna do, not because something you think you should do, but something that really is exciting. Because I think life is hard and any job is hard, so you might as well like what you're doing.
Hmm.
I mean, what was the first question again?
uh,
I'm terrible with questions.
what
Like, I don't
what are,
know.
what is it in your own life that has driven your life to always pursue the creative things that you do in your life?
I don't know, honestly.
Uh-huh.
It's not a conscious decision. It's like a feeling in my gut. Like when I first saw someone acting, I was just like, "Oh, those are magic people." And when I saw people who are my age, friends of mine doing it, I'm like, "Wait a second, they're not magic people. I can do that." And I'm like, "Oh, I could do that better than they're doing it," you know?
Hmm.
I mean, we were like in junior high school, but I was like, "Why are they doing it like that?" It's more of a if you connect to something and then you see how you want it done, you're like, "Oh, I need to do that,"
Hmm.
you know? Hopefully it's fun.
Hopefully. I don't think most people do that though. I think most people follow that path that they're told they're supposed to follow, instead
I
of
know, but
the
I didn't know that. I don't know what no one ever told me a path. I mean, no
uh-huh.
one ever said, "This is what you're gonna be." I'm like, "Okay."
Right.
But
Right.
my mom always said, she goes, "I can't tell you anything. You're gonna do whatever you want to do." I think pretty early on, I was like, "I'm gonna become an actress." So I just was obsessed with that. And then I like singing and dancing. I don't know. I think if I were to do anything, I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna become a dream psychologist if this doesn't work out." But I always kinda knew it would work out. I just thought, "Oh, yeah, that's what I'm gonna do."
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of The Creative Asylum. A quick favor before you go. If you liked this conversation, please be sure to follow and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. New episodes drop every Tuesday at 10. You can find us on Instagram and on YouTube at Creative Asylum CA. That's Creative Asylum and the letters CA. Our website is thecapod.com. And our Facebook is the same, facebook.com/thecapod. Until next week, when we'll have a new conversation with another creative disruptor, stay creative in life and at work.